Mr. President, I move to approve the minutes of the work session of March 21st.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Good, the minutes are approved for the work session. Presentations, first presentations, 4A, PRF, call news, graduation ad. Ms. Daly.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
Yeah.
You have a copy of the PRF. We have been requested, and apparently every year, the city of Semmes places a newspaper ad, a half-page ad congratulating our graduates at MGM. They've given us a discounted price to add color to the ad, so the total is $5.59. In the process of procuring a photograph of the graduating class, and the verbiage will just be congratulations from the city of Semmes, or the city of Semmes, congratulates the graduates. Y'all don't have to take pictures. We're not gonna put your names or anything. We're just the city is congratulating the graduates on their achievement.
Okay. Council comments?
Sounds very good to me. We don't want this to be a political ad. We want this to be something that they can maybe add to their, as a keeper for them. For
Absolutely,
their
put in their scrapbooks.
Very
Exactly.
good.
And this is budgeted under our advertising budget for administration.
Okay. Very good. Is there any other discussion from council on authorizing expenditure of funds to purchase a graduation advertising of the call news? Anyone? All right, moving on.
Do you want me to talk about the other stuff now or later in the meeting?
A little later.
Okay.
A little later. Okay, the next presentation is additional public works and park employees. Rob Lowry.
Hello all. Main reason why we're doing this project request is, as you can read on the project request form, we currently have 2 dedicated employees for park maintenance and 3 for our right-of-way department. What we're asking for is an additional 6 to serve a dual purpose for our parks and also our right-of-ways. As of last year, we had about 17 employees that we did temporary. Through the process of adding on additional equipment, which is the backhoe, it added to our efficiency. Also, our previous expenditure for the splash pad expansion has eliminated the need for all the attendants to be directly on scene. So that's eliminated a lot of our temporary employment that we needed, but we do currently need about 6 more employees for what we call the grass growing season, so we can allow that. We passed this through the Public Works Committee, and they advised that it was a good idea. The fact is from last year to this year, if you look at the Exhibit A on the back end of that budget, we will be saving about a little over $100,000 from last year for temporary workers. So through the process of streamlining our roadways and setting up different processes, we have been able to eliminate a lot of the need for a bunch of employees.
Very good. Yeah, there has been substantial savings in this.
Looks like these savings paid for your backhoe.
Yes, sir.
Well, okay, council comments, Mr. Platt,
None.
Mr. Webb,
None.
Mr. Shirey,
I think we need them, I agree.
Mr. Smith.
I appreciate your department's, Public Works Department's creative work here to be more efficient and save money and at the same time deliver more services. I appreciate you for working on that.
Very good. Any other comments on presentation B, additional public works and park employees from council? Very good, we'll move on. Next presentation, Semmes Municipal Fire Department March monthly report, Chief Brooks.
Good afternoon, Mayor, council. Monthly watch run report, 100% of our calls, 65.17% were EMS calls, 7.12% were fires, 5.24% were false alarm, false calls, 13.86% were good intent calls, and 7.87% were service calls. And also 0.75% were hazardous condition, no fires. Of those calls, we had 19 fires, 174 EMS calls, 2 hazardous condition, no fire, 21 service calls, 37 good intent calls, 14 false alarm calls, for a total of 267 calls. Broken down even farther, we had 1 fire / other, 1 building fire, 1 fire in a motor home, camper, or recreational vehicle, 1 passenger vehicle fire, 2 camper or recreational vehicle fire, 1 natural vegetation fire, 2 natural vegetation fires, 1 forest fire or woods fire, 6 brush fires, 2 grass fires, 1 outside rubbish fire, 1 outside equipment fire, 107 medical assist EMS crew, 4 emergency medical service / other, 45 EMS calls excluding vehicle accident with injury, 11 motor vehicle accident with injuries, 7 motor vehicle accident with no injuries, 2 electrical wiring equipment problem calls, 1 service call, 2 person in distress, 10 public service assistant other calls, 8 assist an invalid, 1 good intent call, 27 dispatch and canceled en route, 5 no incident found or arrival at dispatch address, 4 smoke scares or odor of smoke calls, 11 false alarm or false calls, 1 alarm system malfunction, 1 CO2 detector activation malfunction, and 1 smoke detector activation, no fire, for a total of 267. Training for the month, we had 216 hours of company drill training, 54 hours of driver operator training, 48 and a half hours of fire and life safety education. We had 80 and a half hours of firefighter health and wellness, 27 hours of multi-company drills, 25 and a half hours of continuing officer education, and 105 hours of pre-incident walkthroughs on our occupancies. For 24 personnel, that's a total of 556 hours, 556 and a half hours. Our response time, dispatch to en route, is our turnout time. For Station 1, we've been averaging a minute. For Station 3, a minute and 12 seconds for an average of both stations of a minute and 6 seconds. Average response time to the call, that's from dispatch to arrived on scene. Station 1, 8 minutes and 5 seconds. Station 3, 9 minutes and 14 seconds. This is going to improve when we get Station 2 open. Station 1 is having to cover Station 2's area, so there's going to be several minutes knocked off those times. Station 3 has been running out of the tanker for about a month. Their truck's been out of service, so they've had to slow down on calls, and so that's we'll shave a lot of that time off there once we get our other truck back in service and get that other station going. Our fire inspector has inspected several businesses, A1 Tires, Advanced America, Auto Accents, CD Warehouse, Chilled Yogurt, Dollar General, Dollar Tree, Food Sackley's, Jackson Hewitt Tax Service, merchant bank, a retail store, which name unknown, will be coming to Lot Road, New Horizons Credit Union, Sonic, Trax Tires, Waffle House, and Walgreens. Just an update on the Wolf Road Station, the Lot Road Station. The Lot Road Station, the lease agreement has been signed. We're going to lease that from South Alabama Utilities for $1 a month. The Wolf Road Station is, I think the city attorney is in talk.
Meeting with them tomorrow.
Meeting them with them tomorrow to discuss that. Inventory, we've been inventorying equipment and all the trucks that we received from the volunteers. Insurance, we're still waiting on our insurance carrier to come down and put a value on everything and to look at all our inventory so we can get insurance on all our trucks and equipment. We've been doing a lot of cleanup, a lot of repairs, doing some painting at Station 2. We've been doing pressure washing the buildings, just cleaning up the outside, trying to do a lot of that stuff ourselves so we don't have to pay somebody to come in from outside to do that. Just a timeline on Station 2 on Lot Road, we are probably looking at maybe around about a month. We've got a driveway leading from Lot Road to the station that's in very bad shape. And we're waiting on a estimate from South Alabama Utilities because we're going to go into a partnership and try to get that taken care of before we move in. We don't want to move in and try to take care of these things afterwards. So that's where we're at. Station 1, we're still, evaluating everything, and that should be up and running hopefully in about 2 months.
Okay, comments, Mr. Platt?
Chief, those response times were kind of poor. You see a big improvement in that?
Well, you've also got to realize we answer 55 square miles. And when Station 1 has to run all the way up to Jack Williams Road, all the way down to Howells Ferry, it can take time. So it's an average. I see that, improving a lot. Several minutes shaved off that when we opened up the other station, our other truck. We work on that a lot. We express it, to the guys. We have to get in those trucks, get in our equipment as soon as we can. We don't want to make that time up on the road. Where you shave off a lot of that time is at the station. Getting in the truck quicker, getting in the turnout gear quicker. So that's where you make your time at that, not on the road.
Okay. Mr. Webb, comments?
Sounds good to me. And, are you live anywhere close to Semmes yet?
Yes, sir. Just moved in about a week ago.
Thank you very much. God bless you.
Mr. Shire?
I understand that the response time is bad now because of Station 2. I can foresee us getting down to 5 or 6 minutes easily.
Yes, sir. That is my goal. But, we got to realize that we have such a big area, and in order to really cut that time down, you have to put in more stations. So just keep that in mind when I present y'all with these response times, but we are working hard to get better at those.
I think you're doing a good job.
Amen.
Mr. Smith?
Chief, there were 2 events that you all had in the last, 6 weeks or so that were pretty amazing, and they may have gotten buried in the statistics there, but could you tell us again about the one with the school children and at the school and also at the station?
Yes, we had ABC kindergarten. We had about 70 kids with parents and teachers come out to our training center, and we had Mobile Fire come out also to do a mutual aid exercise with us, and we did a demonstration at the burn tower. And we talked to the kids, they were able to look at our trucks and equipment. And so we had a real good time, and I know the kids enjoyed it.
And then you also sent delegation firefighters and equipment over to the school for career day too, and that was,
We sure did. We had career day at, was that Allentown? And we had a table set up, and Sparky was there. We talked to the kids about, what it takes to be a firefighter, and they interacted with Sparky and had a great time.
I believe those were both very well worthwhile, and I especially like to call everybody's attention to the fact that while you were working with the kindergarten children, you were actually holding two drills, the fire drill and the mutual aid.
Exactly. We count on our neighboring departments a lot, so we have to train with them, and that keeps us on our toes.
Congratulations. That was a good report. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. All right. I believe that finishes it for presentations. Financial report, review of checks. This is discussion only. Does everyone have an opportunity to review the checks? Are there any questions about any checks? Mr. Platt, any questions?
No, sir. Good.
Mr. Webb?
None.
Mr. Shirey? Mr. Smith?
No questions.
Very good, moving on. There are no proposed ordinances. The first item is a proposed resolution. Again, this is discussion only. You'll look at 7A, authorizing the expenditure of funds to purchase a graduation advertisement with the Call News newspaper. Discussion.
I think it's something we should do every year without question.
Okay. Mr. Webb, any comments?
None.
Okay. Mr. Shirey, any comments?
I agree with Mr. Platt, I think we should do it.
Mr. Ford? Mr. Smith?
No further questions.
Okay, my comment, I support this. Next item, authorizing the expenditure of funds for the 2017 Semmes Freedom Celebration. We do this every year, as you're well aware. Mr. Platt, do you have any comments?
Well, I've got a very long speech prepared for that. You might want to talk with the others first.
Okay.
I really intend to beat people up if I can.
You got 20 slides on it.
Huh?
Okay.
You give me 20 minutes, maybe?
Okay. Well, let's come back to Mr. Platt. Mr. Webb, any comments?
No.
Okay. Mr. Shirey?
My comment is that I think we need to not go to 16.5 that has been asked for. I can agree that prices have gone up, and I think it's better than a 50% increase in the cost could be mitigated some other way by not paying out of town entertainment, using local entertainment, which is available free, like this choir from
Sure.
Crazy Montgomery, stuff like that.
Sure.
So I think there's ways that the
Save money.
Orchard and Semmes can save some money and cut it back down. I'd say maybe go up to 12, and that's about as much as I would be willing
Okay.
to support.
All right. Mr. Smith?
Well, I think $10,000 is an awful lot of money. This is a very special occasion. I can support this as presented.
Okay. All right, Mr. Platt, you have the floor.
Okay. I really think that we should go, I'd say 15,000. I'd like to see us amend this and go to 15,000. My reasoning is that prices have gone up, but they have been putting on this event for 4 or 5 years now with no increase. And now they come to us 4 or 5 years later and say, hey, so if you were to give them the 16.5, they could do this event this year and probably reimburse them for some of the out-of-pocket expenses they've had the previous 4 or 5 years. But with this being really the sole 4th of July event, I think our mayor, a red-blooded American soldier, should be pushing for 6,500 or 16.5, and Mr. Veteran here, another, I think I should ask you to step up to the plate also. And I think I know pretty well how the rest of them feel, but I intend to ask you guys to do a minimum 15,000. If you look at it, this is less than $1 a piece for the turnout. And these people do this every year, and all you have to do is show up with your lawn chair and your cooler, and it's there. And we couldn't do this ourselves for this money. We couldn't do it. So I'll just wait and see how you vote.
Okay. Any other comments? All right, moving on. Item C, authorizing expenditure of funds to advertise for Semmes Heritage Day. Comments, Mr. Platt?
I think we're all pretty good on this.
Okay. Mr. Webb?
Aye.
Mr. Shire?
I think this is something that we have done every year also, and I think we need to continue.
Mr. Smith?
No further comment.
And I concur as well. It's something we have done. It's a good operation. It's good support. Next item, D, authorizing the city of Semmes to enter into an agreement with the Semmes Disc Golf Club to hold disc golf tournaments at the property known as the Admiral at Semmes Municipal Park. Council has reviewed this documentation in the agreement. It meets legal parameters. Discussion, Mr. Platt.
I haven't had a chance to read the whole thing through yet, but for council, just Eldridge, is this something where they just take any profits themselves, or how is this going to work?
Well, they can't run a profit type deal at a city park. It's basically, they gotta put the money back into the event.
Okay.
But we wanted to have an agreement. They can, under this, they can do 6 of these per year. We can always change it if it, gets to be a bigger deal. And we wanted to have some kind of parameters about giving us notice of, it's the city park, and giving some notice about when these events are gonna go on, and, insurance, other general contract terms. So they can take the money and put it back into the event, but you can't run a for-profit deal at a park like that.
Okay. So it's really nothing more than just a formal agreement, the do's and the don'ts?
Right,
Okay.
exactly.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir, and I've also put on there, I created I don't know if we had a permit form, but I created that, and also it had a waiver of liability for the participants, the organizer to make the participants to sign in case there's any kind of injury.
Thank you.
Mr. Webb, comment?
I agree with
Mr. Shire?
Excuse me, as far as the waiver, I assume that's just like a hold harmless waiver.
Exactly.
They can't sue the city.
Right.
I have another question about it. These folks have approached us about putting in signs and charging $300 for a little 12 by 8 metal sign by each hole. And it's my opinion, my personal opinion, that should not be legal because it is a city park and they're charging businesses to advertise in a city park. Is that not legal in your opinion?
On a permanent basis, it is not legal. Now, I do have in here that, like, on the day of the event, they can put those temporary cardboard signs or whatever they are that you put up. They could do that, and if they get sponsors to that and put the money back into the event, fine.
Yeah,
But it isn't their golf course, or disc golf course, it's the city, so no, they can't do it permanent.
Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Smith?
No questions.
Very good. I support this as the agreement is written by council. Enter into a general services agreement with Sawgrass Consulting to prepare plans, and bid documents for public work projects and task lists. Mr. Platt?
No, sir. I know what we're doing here.
No additional comments?
No, sir.
This has been, we've discussed this
Right.
before. Mr. Webb?
I agree with
Okay. Mr. Shire?
No comment, I'm in favor.
Okay, Mr. Smith?
No question.
Okay, I support this. Next item, let's see, next item, authorizing additional seasonal public works employees in attendance. This was an earlier presentation. Mr. Platt, your comments?
I think they've done a great job. They cut it back $100,000 and as usual, a very good job.
Mr. Webb?
I agree with it, yes, thank you.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Shire?
I'm totally in favor of it, I think they may have underestimated the need, I think, like when the splash pad was open, we may need more than the 6 exactly. We can address that later if necessary.
Okay. Mr. Smith?
I certainly support this.
My comments, I support this as well. All right. Moving on, committee reports, finance, Mr. Smith.
The Finance Committee will be working on choosing that new software system for the accounting for the city, try to have a report on the next meeting.
Okay, thank you, sir. Roadways and right-of-ways, Public Works, Mr. Webb.
I'm gonna turn that over to Jason.
We talked about
Please.
the phase 1 lighting project. We're about to wrap that up to get it to construction. Phase 2 is going to be a little bit more work involved, and we're starting to identify locations for phase 3. We talked about infrastructure projects, and that's one of the reasons for the resolution that you guys talked about a minute ago for the design engineer. We've talked about a couple of new ordinances we're going to try to introduce over the next couple of months, so we're not really quite ready to do that yet.
Very good.
Mr. President,
Yes.
I neglected to say one thing. This is the beginning of the second half of our fiscal year, and we are now on track on finances.
Good. Okay. Public Safety, Mr. Platt.
As I said previously, everything is really working out extremely well. We've acquired the equipment and still working on the properties and insurance. There's just, you know, an awful lot to do, but things are moving along very well. And as the chief told us earlier, it's going to be probably a month or two before we're fully occupied and operational out of those areas. And citywide, I would say there's only 2 or 3 very small issues, one of which we're going to talk to the city attorney. The others are quite small too. Be talking with the sheriff's office about that. We've done a kind of a very informal survey and for our law enforcement protection services, and the majority, well, I would say just about almost 100% of people are entirely happy with what they see the SO doing out there. By and large, it's good. We are in the process of an electronic sign. The mayor has arranged for one of those signs at a pretty good price, and Jason and Denise and who else is working with that? That'd be Cricket Viger, trying to find a location for that. I think that's pretty much all we've got. Oh, as far as the fire department, you know, we've been putting a lot on these guys, an awful lot on these guys, and due to the fact that they've got the inventory, they've got insurance, they've got maintenance to do, we are going to postpone until the fall any additional public activities like the training. Isn't that correct? The only thing that we'll be doing over there now is what you're doing with your people. We're going to put off the Citizens Academy until fall.
Yes.
You know.
We got a fire officer 1 class scheduled next week, but other than that.
Yeah. So actually, we're just going to kind of hold up until fall, and that'll give the firemen time to vacate the training center, and then we can go back to doing our public training and such as that. And I don't really have anything else.
Very good. Parks and Recreation, Mr. Shire.
Okay. We've discussed, and we meet again this Thursday, at which time we'll probably come up with some more firm project request forms for the next meeting. But Jason is looking for a place where we can put a sign on Schillingers Road. I haven't had a chance to talk to him. Have you found anywhere near that corner yet that property
Yeah,
owner will?
other than the hiccup that I've told you about with the ordinance,
Uh-huh.
so that's the only thing that kind of holding us back. Gonna find out, being an off-premise sign might be an issue.
Okay. But anyway, we wanted to put a 4x8 sign on Schillingers Road pointing to the park and splash pad.
Sure.
So that people know it's there.
Right,
A lot of people have no clue that it's even there now.
right.
We also, Jason has also had someone working on a comprehensive plan for the big municipal farm, things that we would like in it, where to place the things and stuff. I'm not sure what the status of that is so far. I know we've also looked at some of the playground equipment that will actually be on the site where the splash pad is, back behind the splash pad. We've looked at quite a bit, had a couple of presentations on that. So we're in the process of deciding what we can do. And since I've still got money that I haven't spent it all, we should be okay on getting the equipment for the playground, particularly with the, I forget the name of the grant, but there's a grant that we can get from the state. It's a matching funds grant to purchase that equipment, the playground stuff for the kids. So that's where we're standing right now.
Good.
Excuse me, Mr. Platt, could
Yes.
you talk a little bit about the tabletop exercise?
Oh, yes,
committee?
okay.
Thank you.
We have what's called a tabletop exercise where the department heads and the public safety committee and interested citizens, anybody's going to participate if we have an emergency. And I think we probably had at least a half a dozen area organizations represented. And it was a fantastic success. There were some real positive comments. And it served its real purpose, which was to reveal potential shortcomings that we have in preparing for these types of emergencies. So there'll be some good stuff come out of that. And it's really quite another example of how well our departments are working. I mean, it's just amazing the amount of work. I was really impressed that they're all doing to prepare for these things. And there'll be a lot more good stuff to be coming out of it. This looks really good.
Very good, very good. All right, are there any council, legal counsel, or staff comments? Is there any other business that might come before the meeting? It's not on the agenda for today, this resolution. I don't believe, we have time to put it on the next one. This is the one for Heritage Day. I don't believe we have it on there for today. Do we?
Yeah, it's in, item C in resolution.
Yeah, we already covered it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. This was the one that's already budgeted for. Okay, very good. Yeah, we did it. All right. Any other comments, any other business that might come before the meeting? Is there a motion to adjourn?
To adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? The work session is over. The regular session will begin at 4 p.m. We are adjourned. All right, everyone. Is it 4 o'clock?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Good afternoon again. Welcome. It is the City Council regular session for the City of Semmes. It is 4 PM. Meeting is hereby called to order. Roll call.
Mayor Baker,
Here.
Councilmember Watts is absent, Councilmember Smith,
Here.
Councilmember Webb,
Here.
Councilmember Platt,
Here.
Councilmember Shirey,
Here.
Very good. Chief Brooks, would you do both the invocation and the pledge today?
Dear Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for all that you've done for us. Be with this city as we move forward. Lord, just forgive us for our many sins and heal the sick. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Join me in saying the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Chief. Next item is item number 5, consideration of the minutes from the regular session. Everybody had a chance to review those, need some more time.
Mr. President, I move we approve the regular session minutes from March 21st, 2017.
For second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Very good. The minutes from the regular council session of March 21st, 2017 are approved. Are there any presentations or guest speakers? There was one guest speaker. He could not make it today. We will reschedule him for a future. All right, next item, moving along, financial report. Approval of checks for signature. Has everyone on council had an opportunity to review the checks? Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote?
Councilmember Smith,
Yes.
Councilmember Webb,
Yes.
Councilmember Platt,
Yes.
Councilmember Shirey,
Yes.
Mayor Baker.
Yes. Very good. Moving on, item 8, there are no ordinances. Items 9, we discussed earlier. There are resolutions A through F. Is there a motion for immediate consideration of resolutions A through F?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call vote?
Councilmember Smith,
Yes.
Councilmember Webb,
Yes.
Councilmember Platt,
Yes.
Councilmember Shirey,
Yes.
Mayor Baker.
Yes. Very well. Moving on to the first item, which is Resolution 9A, authorizing expenditure of funds to purchase a graduation advertisement with the Hall News newspaper. I believe this has been discussed earlier. Are there any additional comments, Mr. Platt?
No, sir. I'm good with that.
Okay. Mr. Webb?
No.
Mr. Shirey?
No.
Mr. Smith?
No, sir. Move we approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call vote?
Councilmember Smith,
Yes.
Councilmember Webb,
Yes.
Councilmember Platt,
Yes.
Councilmember Shirey,
Yes.
Mayor Baker.
Yes. Item 9B, resolution authorizing expenditure of funds for the 2017 Semmes Freedom Celebration. Comments, Mr. Platt?
I'd like to move that we raise this up to a figure of $13,250. I think that I might be able to get majority of the council to approve that.
Okay. Mr. Platt wants this amount of $13,250. Mr. Webb, your thoughts?
I agree.
Agree? Mr. Shirey?
I will agree with that.
Okay. Mr. Smith?
I agree.
Okay. I agree too. We need to do anything procedurally?
Do a motion to amend the resolution to that amount and then vote on the resolution. So,
Okay. Is there a motion to amend?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Roll call vote?
Councilmember Smith,
Yes.
Councilmember Webb,
Yes.
Councilmember Platt,
Yes.
Councilmember Shirey,
Yes.
Mayor Baker.
Yes. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote?
Councilmember Smith,
Yes.
Councilmember Webb,
Yes.
Councilmember Platt,
Yes.
Councilmember Shirey,
Yes.
Mayor Baker.
Yes. Very good. The resolution is approved at $13,250. Next item is Resolution 9C, authorizing expenditure of funds to advertise for Semmes Heritage Day. Comments, Mr. Platt?
Good on that one.
Mr. Webb?
I agree.
Mr. Shirey?
I'm fine with it.
Mr. Smith?
This is one of Semmes' premier events, and we need to do everything we can to promote this and bring people into Semmes for Heritage Day.
I concur. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call vote?
Councilmember Smith,
Yes.
Councilmember Webb,
Yes.
Councilmember Platt,
Yes.
Councilmember Shirey,
Yes.
Mayor Baker.
Yes. Next item is 9D, authorizing the city of Semmes to enter into agreement with the Semmes Disc Golf Club to hold disc golf tournaments at the property known as the Admiral at Semmes Municipal Park. Discussion, Mr. Platt.
I think this is really good, and I think that we need to see more of this. I'm all for it.
Very good. Mr. Webb?
Yes. I agree.
Okay. Mr. Shirey?
I agree, and as our council has written an agreement with the club, I think it's great.
Mr. Smith?
No comment?
Okay. I support this, item 9D. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Second roll call vote?
Councilmember Smith,
Yes.
Councilmember Webb,
Yes.
Councilmember Platt,
Yes.
Councilmember Shirey,
Yes.
Mayor Baker.
Yes. Next item is 9E, authorizing the city of Semmes to enter into a general services agreement with Sawgrass Consulting to prepare plans and bid documents for public works projects and task list. Comments, Mr. Platt?
I'm good with that.
Mr. Webb?
Good.
Mr. Shirey?
I'm fine with it.
Mr. Smith?
No comment. I move we approve.
Second.
Roll call vote?
Councilmember Smith,
Yes.
Councilmember Webb,
Yes.
Councilmember Platt,
Yes.
Councilmember Shirey,
Yes.
Mayor Baker.
Yes. Item F, authorizing additional seasonal public works employees and parks attendance. This was discussed during the work session. Comments, Mr. Platt?
I think it's great the way those guys over there are trying to save us money. I mean, it's just, it's just,
Yes.
yeah, I'm all for it. Let's,
Okay. Mr. Webb?
Yes.
Mr. Shirey?
I'm in favor.
Mr. Smith?
I too applaud this effort, and I think it's a good deal. I'm for it. I move we approve.
Second.
I agree. Roll call vote?
Councilmember Smith,
Yes.
Councilmember Webb,
Yes.
Councilmember Platt,
Yes.
Councilmember Shirey,
Yes.
Mayor Baker.
Yes. Very good. That completes the resolutions. Moving on to comments and announcements, upcoming events. I'm going to let Ms. Denise talk for a moment about the 3 items coming up in the month of April: the Easter event, the Earth Day community cleanup, and the child abuse awareness. You have the floor.
Thank you. April's going to be a busy month. We have our Easter egg hunt, our Easter party coming up this coming Saturday. We've had $1,000 in donations to help pay for the bounce houses and all the play areas. We've also gotten donations from several local businesses to help fund the golden eggs or special eggs that will be hunted. So we're on track for that and ready to go at 8 o'clock Saturday morning. The weekend of the 22nd is our clean up our own little corner of the Earth Day. We're holding cleanup day in conjunction with Earth Day. I'm getting ready to email people again and really press for more groups to join us. I've only heard from about 3. So we need, if y'all can encourage people to put teams together. I'd like to encourage the council to put a team together. So I'll give y'all easy duty, I swear. Okay. You'll get a t-shirt and a certificate. April 29th is Child Abuse Awareness Day. We are partnering with Dakota Strong, who is having a walk-a-thon that day. We're also partnering with the Child Advocacy Center. The city can neither raise funds or donate funds to these types of organizations, but we have a table that we're going to set up and emphasize children's appreciation, and we have giveaways, wristbands and badges that say I'm a super kid or I'm awesome, that type of thing. So we have giveaways for people just to, encourage people to come out and attend the event.
Okay.
And that's pretty much it.
Very good. That takes us through April. Are there any other comments or announcements that I missed? Okay. Moving on, we now come to public comments. Are there people for public comments?
Yes, sir. Mr. Tony Ebright?
Okay. A reminder about public comments to those of you who may be new. The city clerk will keep the time. The time is 3 minutes per speaker. No attacks on council will be allowed. That said, go ahead, Mr. Ebright.
Thank you for having me. My name's Tony Ebright, 8936 Levy Drive here in Semmes. This past week I got the Call News newspaper. Very good articles as always. I understand they have the wide circulation, that in Semmes, Mississippi, surrounding areas, and as you know, they, basically highlights all the counties north, Semmes and north of us, and some things that go on in Mobile. Well, this past, one, not count, the day that's coming out, so this current one that's out had spotlight growth on all the cities, and it included Mobile. Well, I thought Semmes got left out. I called the newspaper and said, hey, I think my paper was short, and they informed me that Semmes did not want to participate in this. And I think that's a very lost cause and lost opportunity of Semmes opting out of this. Because, you got, let the residents know what's going on in the city of Semmes, our growth, mowers, all these across the street. And plus have to let people outside Semmes know that we have this, bring in, that opportunity to bring income in for the city. And also, advertising the splash pad that one of the cities did advertise that they have coming up. They have a splash pad plan for their city. Future growth advertisement you missed out on. All this advertisement could, be read by a potential person that would like to put a business here in Semmes. I think we missed out big time on pre-advertisement from the Call News on promoting the city of Semmes. And I'm very disappointed that we didn't have an article on Spotlight on growth in the Call News. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, sir. Next.
Ms. Tina Davis?
Dave.
Tina Davis, I know you all know me. I'm here today as a citizen of Semmes and a former employee of Semmes. Some of you may or may not be aware that for the past 6 months I've been serving as the Economic Development Director for the city. This position was created in 2015 by this council and Mayor Hale with a unanimous vote. Mr. Jimmy Wickfield was the first one to serve in this position. He was here for approximately 8 months. During that time, he, along with Mayor Hale, the Planning Commission, the Chamber Board of Directors, and several others volunteered their time to come up with a strategic economic plan and set out goals for smart growth for our city. We spent many hours of our time coming up with metrics to measure growth and implementation strategies. I have provided for you a copy of a letter that was prepared by Mayor Baker on March 29th. It was mailed regular mail to my home. I received it on April 1st. You'll see the letter says that my job was terminated on March 31st, and I received it on April 1st. The letter starts out by saying that, as you are aware, I'm here to tell you today that I am not aware of any reorganizational plan. I have never been given the courtesy of seeing this. I've never had a conference to discuss it, and it very much apparently had to do with my position, but I was never given that courtesy to share that information. So let's talk about transparency. I know several of you ran for office on transparency issues, but this has turned into non-transparency. So I have no accessibility to, at the time, my boss. When Mayor Hill was here, we had several meetings per week. We had a plan
We have 1
in
minute.
place. But accessibility, I was not able to meet with Mayor Baker but twice. And during that time, I was stripped of my job description. I was told that only thing I could do was get new businesses in here. I was told I could annex business property in, which I did, 6 parcels. And I was in the middle of other annexations for businesses that probably will come in if that was continued, but that is stopped overnight. So I'm just here to ask, why was I not given the courtesy? I was not provided an office, a phone, utilities. I was given a laptop and a printer. But yet I still did the best that I could do, and I gave it all my best. In closing, I want to say that I appreciate the opportunity that I was given to learn more about businesses in Semmes, but mostly about the knowledge of Semmes and about how not to treat employees in the future. So I'm here to represent the employees that are with the city now to say that this could happen to you. So hopefully there'll be some attention brought to this problem that, and apparently we don't really have HR in place either, because I went in to sign the documents and there was no HR in place to tell me. So I lost my insurance overnight, or we're not sure about that. So I just wanted to bring that to everyone's attention. Is there any comments?
Is that 3 minutes? Thank you for your comments, ma'am. Are there any other speakers?
No, sir.
Very good. Thank you, ma'am. Is there any other business that might come before the meeting?
I move we adjourn.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you.